All right, we proceed with what we have to do today. And it is very important for us to handle what I intend to teach. And of course, it's part two of the series that I started a few days ago, but it was more public. But proceeding, this will be more kind of an indoor exclusive session just with the mentorship community. And I decided to share on this because I believe that is one of the most important critical things that anybody should know. You see, the society is driven by principles and concepts and body of knowledge and strategies and wisdom here and there. And there are some things that you just need to know. And as long as you are ignorant as far as those things are concerned, you can desire success, but at the same time, it feels like that success is far away from you. And many a times, most of the things that I share with the mentorship community are things that I discovered them, I tried them, put them to use, and I've seen incredible success in my own life and what I do. And most of the time, especially if I get to deliver some of these strategies and coaching solutions to you know, coaching clients that I get to work with across different settings. So one of those things that I discovered a few years ago was when I began to understand that in the society, either you are a low value economic person or you are a high value economic person. So this concept just came to mind and I created it. And I started doing research and analysis and understanding how the world works and how people who made it, what they did, and how people who are struggling and what they are doing. And then I created this concept, which I now call, low value economic people and high value economic people. And I strongly believe that it is one of those things that if you learn and truly absorb it and make it part and parcel of your lifestyle, your toolbox, you are going to win the battle against poverty, against lack, against being a nobody, against being in confusion. And in the first session, so if you're here and you have not watched or followed, you did not follow live the part one where we handled two key elements, please make sure that you find it on the YouTube channel and go through it because I'm only going to continue from element number three. And if I get to finish element number three, we will talk about element number four. So, but I want you to understand this. This is not one of those coaching sessions or training sessions that you get to attend and you pick a few ideas or notes here and there and you go keep it and you never go towards it because this is practically one of those things that you have to understand the philosophy, you have to understand the practical process to deploy this in your life. So if you were part of part one and after the few days that we went through that part one and you are not really putting what we handled in part one to work, then you are already not acting as a high economic value person, right? So this is a challenge also if you are part in part one and in the last few days you have not been putting to use, you have not been trying to understand how do I implement this in my daily life so that there can be a process because here's the factor. Personally, for me, because I've also come to discover that being a high value economic personality is also in levels. So there are things that personally for me, I keep on doing every single day so that I can continue to grow at that high level in becoming that high value economic personality. And this one of those things that when I learned and I started saying that money is supposed to be my slave, it's one of those things that when I became aware of, there are some things that you make, there are some statements that you can make from the place of excitement, but there are some things that you begin to say, you begin to believe from the place of revelation and understanding and consciousness based on what you're discovering, what you're practicing, and what you're learning. And this is one of those concepts and one of those tools that if every mentee, every person here, if you truly understand it, and not only understanding it, but you're executing it in less than no time, in a very short time, you will truly see that not just you hearing that money is supposed to be your slave, but you truly see it happening in your life that money is truly your slave and you are a master over money, right? So I'm trying to lay this emphasis so you see my heart and see why I believe that this is very critical for you as a person, for you to understand and make sure that you are running with it. Because many people, majority of the human race is within this low value economic level. Majority, billions and billions of people. A very small number gets to operate from that high, value economic level as far as society is concerned. And there are different things that contribute to this demarcation. And one of them, of course, is the inability of people at the lower level to know what to do that can take them to that higher level. And we started laying that particular foundation and we handled very important two critical elements. And those two critical elements, if you are able to get them into your life and consistently put them to use, these other ones I will share because there are about 7 of them that have been able to, document after research and experimentation that anybody can put to use and be able to change their lives, forever. Because change is a consequence. Success is a consequence. Wealth creation or building wealth and becoming prosperous is a consequence. And the consequence is, are you able to absorb? Are you able to learn? Are you able to process? Are you able to put to use the right body of knowledge that will cause these things that some people get to run after to become your consequence? Right? I was teaching somewhere, I was giving an example that when you see somebody who will do, let's say people who do like prostitution, people who, or some young girls who are slave queens and they have, several boyfriends, or they have sugar daddies, and even some guys, what they do, some who steal in the office and do different things. Those are typical examples of a people or somebody that money is their slave. And that's also a typical example of a low value economic person. Because a high value economic person will not have to do that in order to get money. Because they command something that is more higher and more powerful than those ungodly activities that positions them in a place where they begin to attract money. So it's important that we really understand these things that I'm sharing with us and put to use so that you're able to break out from that lower level and begin to grow consistently to the highest level, because there's no cap, there's no limit. The only limit is the one that you decide that, oh, you know what, when it comes to being a high economic value personality, this is where I am going to end. But there's no limit in this thing. There's no limit. All right. So the third element I want us to cover today is what I call the finding versus becoming perspective. Finding, like to find something, versus becoming perspective. I'm going to explain. Finding versus becoming perspective. So under becoming, you can put in brackets attracting and positioning. if you understand these elements, it's going to break out a lot of things out of your life and bring you into that place, to that place where a lot changes in what you do. So the finding versus the becoming perspective or element. Now, from my observation and studies and discoveries, low economic value people, they prioritize finding. They prioritize finding money, finding opportunities, finding these kind of things. However, high economic value people, they are able to prioritize the ability to attract, not to find, the ability to position so that the opportunities that will change their lives come to them. They understand the power of becoming so that they begin to attract that which others struggle to find. And you see, if you have somebody who you have spent time to really understand how the game of money works, you understand that there are some people that money effortlessly runs to them. It's like they magnet money, they magnet opportunities that leads to wealth creation and, of course, prosperity. That is why, if you notice, in countries like Nigeria gets to do that for many for many in many certain tribes, the United States and many other countries. People don't like to work for the government. People don't like to work for the government. In most of these countries, unlike Cameroon and other African countries where people pay bribes to get jobs in the government because they think the government pays better, or maybe sometimes because they pay bribes to get in, so they collect more bribes to make more money. It's a cycle, right? But in more advanced countries, people don't like government jobs. Why? Because there's a cap to it. There is a kind of there are things that you cannot do in order to attract prosperity or become so valuable at what you do that you can be paid so well, right? So, what I was trying to say is that if you really understand how money works, you understand that money becomes effortless or comes effortlessly to you when you are able to either become, understand attraction, or understand positioning. So that's why I was saying that many people don't like to work for the government in advanced countries because they get to be limited. So low value economic people hunts for money, while high value economic people, they become someone money hunts for. So what's the concept? The concept is that it's a mindset shift from chasing to becoming a magnetic force through value. So you begin to ask yourself, what can I do to stop chasing for money and to become a magnetic force through value? It's a major difference, a major difference between people who operate at that lower level and people operate at that higher level. What can I do to stop hunting for money, but I become the person that money can hunt for? That's the goal. That's the goal. What can I do in a way that that thing can become a force? Because there are things that if you're able to do in the work that you do, that thing can become a force that attracts money to you through this platform you can call value. For example, I like to do a lot of study to understand how olden kingdoms used to work. And I discovered that in history, kings had the mindset and the character of attracting and they used to say that kings attract, slaves find. Kings attract, slaves find. Because in that olden time, slavery was very popular, right? So if you were broke, you were a slave to somebody who has more money. So they had this mentality or this concept of living that if you are a king, you are a noble person, you are somebody of high class, or you're somebody who wants to be in high class, you need to begin to understand that I need to position myself, or I need to begin to do things and become the person that can attract, not the person who has to find. So these kings understood that power always position, not pursue. You position and you align, or you decide to pursue. And most people who pursue, most people who chase and hunt after money, they do so from the place of guesswork, assumption, aimlessness, and hoping that something will pan out, and hoping that there will be a breakthrough. So the question I have for you here is, are you hunting for money, or is money hunting for you? The, the, the state of your mental intelligence, the state of your daily lifestyle, the state of what you're building right now, is it structured in a way you are hunting for money and you will keep hunting for money, or is it structured in a way that money hunts for you? And here's the challenge. If you hunt for money, what happens when you retire? That's one of the most powerful things that can happen to anybody, is to understand what I'm teaching you and be able to put it to use. Because if you're hunting for money at the age of 30, 35, 40, you still have the energy, you still have the time, you may say so. But what when you get to 50, 55, 60, you no longer have the body strength or the kind of, strength, they say, to hunt at the same level that you were hunting at the age of 30 or 35 or 25. So that's why paying the price to understand how to be the person that money hunts for is not just a present critical achievement for you, but it's a lifetime critical achievement for you. So low economic value people hunt for money. High value economic people, money hunts for them. So they have that mindset. You need to have the mindset of a king. Kings attract, slaves find. And never forget this. Kings attract, slaves find. That's why I now wrote a philosophy, and I said that power and influence are rooted in becoming, not in begging. Power and influence. And of course, when you see power, when you see influence, money becomes easy. Power and influence are rooted in becoming, not in begging. Many people beg, many people plead, many people, hope. But begging and hope is not a strategy. That is the crisis management framework for low value economic people. High value economic people, they play a different game. And the game is, I need to become. And the more I am becoming every day, I begin to command a certain level of power. It could be expertise power. It could be relationship power. It could be position power. It could be value power. But the point is, when you begin to become, you begin to attract and command certain dimensions of power and influence and impact. And anywhere you see power, influence, and impact, look closely. You will see wealth and prosperity. you will see wealth and prosperity. And if you reverse, it's the same thing. Show me somebody who is living hand to mouth and broke and struggling financially. You will find very limited or zero impact, influence, and power. You find it. So where do you fall? So don't forget it. High economic value people, they understand that power, influence, and impact is rooted in becoming. Low value economic people, they focus on hope, begging, guesswork, and assumption. So you cannot play the game of those people. Even if you are listening right now and you are at that level, majority of people started at that level. But there are things that when you begin to know, there's a body of knowledge, practical body of knowledge like what you're learning right now, that contributes to your speed, your ability, your strategies of moving from that lower level to that higher level. One way to identify somebody who is of low economic value personality and high economic value personality is in terms of people at that lower level, they think in terms of needs. And people at the upper level, they think in terms of solutions in what people are searching for. So if you're always thinking of, I need this, oh, I need money, oh, I need help, oh, I need this, I need this, I need that. That's a typical mindset and example of a low economic value person. High economic value people, they think in terms of the solutions that people are searching for, or even how can they convert their need into a solution or into value that somebody else can never begin to see. Although you are in need of this, but there's a different mentality that you have that positions you in a different level. So the goal here is that your identity becomes a solution, not just a seeker. The identity of high economic value people is the identity of solution. And the identity of low economic value people is the identity of needing things, of begging, or just seeking for help. So you are either in one of these classes. And you see, when you are able to become valuable, you make people and money to move towards you, not away from you. And this one thing that when I came to understood, I was like, my goodness, this was right before me. If I am able to become a person that can cause people and money to move towards me, another way for me, it's going to be so easy to build wealth. Don't forget that. Becoming valuable in your industry, in what you have chosen to do. See, the one way to rate the proof of your ability to be valuable is in the quality of people that move towards you. You know why? Because where people move, opportunities and money move in that direction. And people on them move into places where they will find value, they'll find help, they'll find solutions, and they'll find support. So your goal of becoming valuable is to become the person that makes people and money to move towards, not away. Show me somebody who is struggling financially consistently. I will show you somebody that their life is not a magnetic field. Simple as that. They have not become the person that their life is magneting something into them. Based on what they are doing. It's very important to understand it because when you're able to have this kind of perspective and script running in your mind, the quality of what you do on a daily basis begin to shift. And when it shifts, the results begin to shift. Now, this is where attraction, based on what I just said, attraction begins when your positioning reflects clear and needed value. What am I saying? Your ability to attract people into your life, your ability to attract money into your life begins to happen when your positioning or when you're becoming reflects very clear and needed value. For example, a doing is a data analytics expert and other things that he does. I only remember data analytics, right? Now, one way for him to become a high value economic personality, because it's possible to have certain skills that can change your destiny, and yet you are a low value economic personality because you lack this point I just made. So, a doing is in data analytics. And we have agreed that becoming valuable, the proof of you becoming valuable or the proof of you being a high value economic personality is that people and money move towards you, not away from you. Because people struggle financially. The point is that money is not coming towards them. People are not coming towards them. People are moving away from them, and money is moving away from them, directly or indirectly. Some are even ignorant of this concept, right? So, for a doing to become that valuable in a way that it makes people and money to move towards him based on what he's doing, he needs to have the understanding that attraction, what is he attracting? People and money to come to him. He needs to understand that attraction begins when positioning what that means his data analytics business or skills. He is positioning it so well in a way that it reflects clear and needed value. That means his value is so clear that anybody can understand, and his value is so structured and communicated in a way somebody, when they see it or when they hear it, they know that I need this value. And when they're able to agree that I need this value, they now come towards a doing with their personality and with their money. Are you getting this? It's very important to get this. So the, the perspective here is the creation of value attracts. The creation and the value that is well documented and communicated attracts the people and, of course, the money. That's why they now call this economy the creator's economy. They now say that the present and the future economy favors the creators. If you are not creating something of value, directly or indirectly, the economy will not favor you. And I always add, don't only create, master the art of communicating what you're creating in a way that reflects clarity of value. And when people hear what you're saying, they will come to the agreement that I need this particular value. So if you are not marketing value you are marketing desperation. And this one thing I've discovered a lot in people in the lower class, right? And you see, sometimes I can be able to describe the lower class because I come from a very humble family. I'm very struggling financially since I was born till I grew up. Always struggling hand to mouth. So I know the experiences. You see, low economic value people, they market desperation. They're always desperate for money. They're always desperate for something. They're always trying. That's either, desperate for trying to pay rent, desperate to pay school fees, desperate. They're always desperate for something, desperate to even, feed. There's always some form of desperation. And the challenge is this desperation has no end game. They don't know when it's going to end. They just guess walking and hoping that someday it go better, it go better. But do you have a plan on how it will get better? No. And that's a challenge. So if you're here, that's the purpose of this training. If you're here as and you have this kind of experience and you're operating from that low economic value level, and you have been one of those who keep on believing that someday it'll be fine. But that someday is possible with strategy. It's possible with the right body of knowledge. It's possible if you get the right wisdom and you begin to deploy it in partnership with God. I made a post, a thought I shared on my TikTok, and I said, how did I say that thing again? I was just thinking, and then the thought came and I just put it there. Let me check. This is always making noise. I said something like, lack of knowledge limits the move of God in your life, including how much God can bless you financially. Lack of knowledge limits the move of God in your life. I was just sitting somewhere and then the thought just came and just let me keep it there, right? You see, it is the will of God to bless as many people as possible. But unfortunately, not everybody will be blessed. Because many people don't take the responsibility to acquire this kind of knowledge that makes it easy for the blessing to be made manifest. Many people hope as if hope is a strategy. No, hope only becomes valid as a strategy when you have done the right things in terms of knowledge acquisition and knowledge deployment, and you know what they're doing. You're not assuming, you're not guessworking. You know that based on this path and what I just did, I am not just assuming, right? So, like I was saying, I have come to observe that low value economic people market desperation. They are always desperate for something, even trying to get a job. Like you talk to them and say, what can you do? Anything. They just give me anything. They market desperation. But you can be a high, you see, your bank account can be empty and you're a high value economic personality because it's a state of being. It's a state of operation. It's a state of functioning. And at this stage, there is a way that you have become that you know and you know that in one way or the other, money is going to come into your bank accounts because you have become the kind of person that people and money move towards you. You think that is what they call them billionaires? Do you think at all times they have billions in their bank accounts? No. Sometimes they even have they don't even have up to $1 million in their bank account, but they are called billionaires. Cash is the lowest form of one of the lowest things you need to have in terms of being a wealthy person. Who you have become, the kind of body of knowledge that you command, the kind of things that you know how to do. You see, for example, sometimes there is seasons in my life where I don't have up to 10,000, let's say in Cameroon, I don't have 10,000 francs, but I'm fine. And I can wake up the next morning and there's a million in a bank account. As simple as that. Because when you become, those things move towards you. It's very important. So we're talking on element number 3 on finding versus becoming or attracting. Low economic value people find things. High value economic people, they become or they attract or they position. So you develop an identity. You develop clarity of value. You develop massive value. And you are the person that creates deep results anywhere you find yourself. You see, one sign that you're becoming a high value economic personality is that you are not just being seen by other people, you are sought after because your identity has become that of impact, that of influence, that of relevance. Let me say it again. One sign that you have become a high economic value personality is that you are not just seen. Let's say, for example, you work in a company right now, or even you run your own business. You are not just seen by other people. No, you have taken the step further in the way you have become, which is you are now sought after because you command a certain identity, which is the identity that breeds impact, that breeds influence, that breeds value at all times, consistently, not rising and falling at all times. And you have understood the power of positioning because you also understand that positioning builds trust before speaking. You see, low economic value people, they beg for the chance to be seen. But high value economic people, they become and they position before speaking. People at a lower level, they are desperate to be seen. They beg for the chance to be seen. But when you operate with this state of being that you are a high economic value person, you are not desperate to be seen. You just have the confidence that you will be seen. You will be discovered. The opportunities will come to you. The people will come to you because you know that it's a simple law, a simple divine design that as I become and as I position, I naturally begin to attract because I am now in magnetic field. You are now in magnetic field. For example, let's say, for example, you become offline. Whatever you're doing, you become so good at it offline. And then on your social media platform, you are just positioning by sharing expert knowledge, expert strategies, expert feedback, the impact you're doing in your community, whatever you're doing. Because you have already become and you're positioning, you become a magnetic field where people now move towards you and money now move towards you. Right? So there is something I always talk about known as network gravity. Network gravity. What does that mean? Many of us have gone to conferences here and we have attended sometimes networking events. Let me explain the concept of network gravity. If you have attended networking events or you have gone to conferences here and you have collected contact cards, complimentary cards, or even phone numbers on your phone or email, and you have done nothing with it, comment in the chat box me. Can you comment me in the chat box? Good. Okay. Now, many people don't understand networking. You see, my conclusion is that low economic value people, they are good at collecting contacts. High value economic people, they create a system to magnetize allies by sharing rare skills with the contacts. These are two different ways of networking. A low value economic person collects the contacts excitedly. Some may go a step further and just say, "Hi, it was nice meeting you at this event," and that's it. But for you to practice my concept of network gravity, you need to do something that will magnetize those people into your ecosystem. So if we're in an event and you get my contact, let's take Edwin again, for example. Now, if Edwin is a low value economic person, he can get my contact, and sometimes he will not reach out. He's just excited that he has my contact. For some people who are a step ahead, they may reach out and say, "Oh, nice connecting to you. We met at this event. Thank you for meeting with me." That's it. But for you to enjoy what I call network gravity, this it simply means that there are things that you do as a high economic value person that you now magnetize these people into your ecosystem. How do you do that? By looking at what they do, and because you have their contact, their email, or their phone number, you look at your rare skills, your finest skills, your expert skills. And when you are sending them a message, you're sending a message of value because the goal is network gravity. You want them to gravitate towards you. You don't want them to read your message and just say one of those casual people I met in a conference. No. You want to stand out. So you craft a message on email, and the goal is linking your rare skills, your finest skills, with what they are doing and telling them this is the value I'm going to bring to you. Based on my rare skills, what you do, this is what I'm going to do for you or serve you as a volunteer, as a part-time, or I'm going to give you a discount in one of my services. When you do that, you are activating the network gravity concept, where you are the one magnetizing the allies towards you by sharing your rare skills with them or expert skills with them, and not just sharing, but clearly communicating how what you bring to them can help advance what they're doing or help serve them or help create better value and become so relevant that they have no choice than to gravitate towards you. So there's a way that low value economic people, there's a way that they network, and there's a way that high value economic people, there is a way that they network. So you now see why this point is important. Personally for me, I don't see how somebody can move from being a low value economic person to a high value economic person without this major point that we have handled today. The last thing I want to talk about under these elements is what I call problem ownership. Problem ownership. I also discovered that the people that have been able to operate at a certain level of impact, at a certain level of progress, They practice the problem ownership mentality. And it's still a sub major point under becoming and being a person that attracts people and money. Because if you run away from problems, money and people run away from you. Simple equation. But show me somebody who understands the game of owning problems and turning them into value creation, opportunities. Will show you somebody who will always be a high economic value personality. So what am I saying? Low value economic people, they complain about barriers. They complain about problems. They complain about challenges. But there is something different that high economic value people do. They turn obstacles into ventures. They don't just own the obstacles. They don't just own the problem. Their goal is, how can I turn this obstacle into a venture, into a money-making system, into an institution, even into a project, into an initiative, into an advocacy program. So there is a higher way that they begin to look at when problems arise in their lives, in their families, in their careers, in the companies where they work, or in their businesses. It's a problem ownership mentality. And the more you're able to own these problems, and not just owning them, but you begin to convert them into ventures. So the goal is, how do you convert obstacles into ventures? And the more you convert obstacles into ventures, or into initiatives, or into projects, or into better ideas, into solutions, into whatever that you decide, the more you convert, because here's what is important. Check anybody that operates as a high economic value person, you will notice that they have so many projects in their back. They have so many things that they have created, they have improved, they have adapted, they have perfected, they have initiated, they have structured. Because you cannot be a high economic value person if you are not creating high economic value stuffs around you. And that's why you see projects, you see ideas, you see concepts, you see advocacy programs, you see solutions, you see community projects, what have you. And they don't just do these things because one challenge with low economic people is that they have so many unfinished projects. So many, they start things here and there. They never finish one. So many incomplete projects here and there. So when I'm talking about converting obstacles into ventures, I'm talking about ventures that truly have stability, or projects that they start and they finish and they move to the next one. Right? So it's important that will you fail? Of course. But when you fail as a high economic value person, you fail with a different perspective. That's why I always say that, you see, personally for me, there's no amount of money I can lose in anything that can make me lose sleep. I made the money and I can remake the money over and over again. So as long as I always advise people, look, and this is something very important, never forget. If you lose money or you are in a difficult season, make sure you don't lose your mind and your heart. Very important. The day you lose your mind and your heart, you have lost something that no amount of money can ever buy. But if you lose all your money and you have your mind intact, your heart is not poisoned, your heart is not hurt, you are not depressed, you will remake that money back. And even better. Right? So never cry over spilled milk. That is for low value economic people. Sometimes it's okay to just let go and focus on rebuilding better and rebuilding faster, with more precision, with better knowledge, with better partners, with better ideas. That's why, you see, personally for me, there is no human being on earth I can ever take to court for money. None. That's too much waste of time. Too much waste of time. And the last one I talk about under this point is understand legacy versus luck. High value economic people, they think in terms of legacy. Low value economic people, they think in terms of luck. So if you're here and you just live life anyhow, you try things here and there, hoping that one is going to work out, you're thinking in terms of luck, and you cannot build like that without luck. You cannot achieve anything like that by building in terms of hoping that you will get lucky. Please don't do things hoping to get lucky. Worst of all, if you're a Christian, God doesn't do things on luck. God is a God of precision. So low value economic people, they hope for luck. But high economic value people, they are the architects. They are people that engineer conditions where success cannot ignore them. Let me say it again. A high value economic person is an architect, is a designer, a daily architect, a daily designer, a daily engineer, where every day they are engineering the way they live their life, the way they think, what they're learning, what they're consuming, what they're doing. And the goal is that I am going to engineer my life in such a way, that success cannot ignore me. Let me say it again. Low economic value people, they hope for luck. They try things here and there, hoping that something's going to break out, something's going to become successful, something they're going to make it. Can that happen? There's a small percentage chance that is possible. But it has also been discovered that people who succeed based on luck do not have what it takes to maintain that success. So they always go back to failure. But when you're hoping based on strategy, based on engineering, based on things that they're doing consistently that creates that success around you and for you, when you eventually succeed, you have what it takes to multiply that success. You don't stay stunted, you don't stay limited. You have the ability to keep on progressing and, of course, to keep on advancing in what you are doing. So don't forget this element number 3, that it is critical for you to move from being a low economic value person to being a high economic value person. And you will see how effortless money will come towards you. How effortless. Like I keep saying, money is the easiest thing to make. But becoming the person that can cause money to easily come to you, that's where the challenge is for many people. And when you're a high value economic person, you will now see what I keep saying. Money can be so easy to make. Is it something you wake up overnight and it happens? No. But there are things like what you're learning right now, you keep on learning and practicing, that becomes your reality. And you break out from, repeating the same patterns that sometimes your parents, sometimes your siblings, sometimes your friends, sometimes the community where you grew up in, where if you look carefully, everybody's making the same amount of money, living at the same level, having the same types of houses, the same types of cars, everything is almost the same. You know why? Because everybody around you is running the same script, the same framework, the same information. And the only way to break out is to become what I'm telling you. That's why the only way to break out from where you are in the same class, is to know what they don't know. and do what they're not willing to do, then there is always that particular breakout. All right, that's it that we have for today. Next week, and not next week, hopefully we're going to do this again in the mentorship community. And we are going to look at element number 4 on what to do that can move you from a low economic value person to a high economic value person. And this number 4 is very, very important, and it plays a critical role as far as the first 3 that we have handled, they are concerned. And like I said, tomorrow in the mentorship community, tomorrow I will have another session with us, and it will be focusing on so like you guys know, in this community, I always try to share with you guys two-sided monthly stuffs. So tomorrow, we're going to look at how true spirituality must influence your reality. Because I've also come to think that this is one of the biggest impacts and challenges in Christian journeys. So we'll have that teaching tomorrow, same time, and I'll show you guys how that works, because what is the use of having access to spiritual realities and you don't know how to convert spiritual realities to impact your physical life? Like I always see, look at, if your relationship with God doesn't impact your life on earth in the state of your being, and of course, the lives of other people, you are not practicing spirituality. You're a spiritist. You should go to one forest and live there alone. Right? But true spirituality, it should be able to impact you as a person. There should be that reality in your life that, hey, you commune with God. And my communion with God is so relevant that you can see that my reality is different because I know and I fellowship daily with the God of our creation. And the people around me should experience the impact of my spirituality. They should not only know that you pray in the night. So, yes, you pray. That's good. But what else? How do you translate that? When you pray, you're supposed to leave the place of prayer with something. That's a fact. So what do you leave the place of prayer with that impacts you and, of course, the people around you? So that's the focus for tomorrow. And by the help of the Holy Spirit, we're going to share a few things that will be very practical in what you will learn and put to use in your life. Any questions? All right, this is a very, very good question. What if I actually attract money birthed from the low and middle class? What do I do? What do I need to attract high class kings and queens? Now, the first step in doing this is, do you have an offer for the rich? The first step to getting paid by the rich is create a product for the rich to buy. That's the first step. Even when you don't know where they are, but do you have a product? Let's say, for example, doing your current things that you sell to, and that's one thing. There are things there are some prices that if you sell anything within that price, you will never have a rich customer. Never. Never. So let's say right now, the current things that you sell, the cost is $100. Now, can you create a product offer that costs $1,000? Something that somebody can pay you for a 1 week service, $1,000. That's the first step to attracting the high class. look at their problem, look at their pain points based on the work you do, based on your value, then package an exceptional value offer and charge the price that only the rich can afford. A price you know that if a poor man sees it, they may think that you are evil for charging that kind of price. Right? That's the first step. When you do that now, the second step is find them. Go to where they hang out. Go to the platforms where they hang out. Do you have people in your network that can endorse you to them? Now, figure out all that you can to get the offer on their face. And here's one thing I've learned many times, to get 10 rich people, you may need to take the risk to serve one rich man for free. Serve the rich man so good that they'll be so indebted to you that the only thing they can do is to pick their phone and tell all their rich friends to buy from you. You are gone. This is one of the fastest ways I have seen how to break into the class of the rich. If you get access to just one, when you want to pay, you refuse. I want to serve you for free. I need just one request. Endorse me to your friends. That's all I need. Support my business by endorsing me to your friends. It always works like magic. But the secret is make sure you serve them so well, so exceptionally well, that they will put their name on the line to endorse you. And then you keep on discovering places where they hang out. Is there a particular advertisement method that you can reach them? Keep on doing that. But the one thing that if you get right is going to change you so much is create an offer for them. Have an offer for the rich. Have a product for the rich. Okay, how can I stop myself from always being worried? Worry is feedback. You don't just stop worrying. Worry is feedback. Worry is data. So why are you worried? You don't just stop being worried out of nowhere. Why are you worried? Right? Why are you worried? What is making you worried? Maybe lack of information, ignorance. Maybe worry is feedback. So why are you worried?
Sorry, Doc. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm always worried about money. I worry a lot about money when it comes to finances. Even if it's just a little amount, I start worrying about it. Worried about how should I price my business, or how can I get this money? How can I get this? How can I get this? I
Okay,
worry a
so
lot about it.
listen. Like I said, so that worry is feedback. That worry is not the problem. The real problem is you have not mastered how you make money.
Mm-hmm.
You have not mastered how, for example, I know what to, let's say if I want to make, for example, if you have not come to a place where, let's say you want to make €1 million in 10 months or in 2 years, if you sit with you and yourself, can you build a strategy to make it? The day you can do that, the day you can
Mm-hmm.
do that, you would never be worried about money. So that worry is feedback that, hey, there are things that you don't yet know. Number one is, how do you create value as a person based on your skill set, your experience, the work that you do, where you're coming from? How do you create value? Because it is value that makes money. Number two, how do you sell this value? Do you know how to sell it? Do you know how to get clients to sell it? Or yeah, what maybe because you have only one source of income, your job. Okay. How do you get a better job? Is it possible? If
Please
not,
have a that.
how do you have a passive or side income, right? So that worry is feedback that there are some things you are not learning, and there are some things you need to know. Then the worry dies down.
Okay,
You see,
thank
so
you.
you need to put yourself on a new mission, and that mission could be, how can I double or triple my income so that I never be in a place where I am worried about bills,
Exactly.
right? So, and the only way to sort out that worry is, how do you triple your income? And you start doing that by assessing, okay, how do I currently make money? If it's only a job, a good start. Now, with that current job, is there a possibility of increasing income in that current job? If there's no possibility, is there a possibility of getting a better job that can double my income? If there's no possibility, why is it hard for me not to get better pay from the current job or from a new job? Or am I lacking in a particular skill? Or if that's not an option, okay, passive income wise, what can I create and add to my job that will be a passive income opportunity? And how can I leverage the internet or these platforms I have around me to make more money and even faster? So the point here is your knowledge on how you make money, how you keep money, and how you multiply money. That knowledge is inadequate. And that's why that worry is there. And until you sort out knowledge on these three areas and how to do them, that worry will persist. There is, go to my YouTube channel and go on that playlist. You will see there are about, I think, almost 30 videos only on money, making money, keeping money, multiplying money, all of those things. If you watch all of those videos, all the videos, you will sort out your money life. Okay?
Because
Because if you need to get these things right, trust me, if you don't get
mhm,
these three things right,
mhm,
1 year later, you'll still worry about money. And it's one of those things that, okay, you mentioned about how to price your business, something like that.
yes, yes,
What
please.
what 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 business do you do?
Um, apart from my main job, I do hair at home, like home service, and many times or oftentimes when customers ask like how much is it, I'm unable to give a fixed price, and this comes always like, or if I give it like a little higher, they might not come again, and when I give
Okay.
it a little lower, they will take me for granted. So I'm
Okay.
always just jingling in between.
First things first. First things first. You need to remove emotions from your business. You are too emotional. From what you just said, you're emotional,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Emotions don't build a money-making business, except you're doing charity. Now, let me ask you a second question. What is the highest amount that a client has ever paid you for hair?
It was 150 euros.
Okay. How long did you do that hair?
That was approximately 6 hours.
Okay. And if you divide 160 euros, does that average minimum wage for per hour where you work in your country?
Mm, per hour, of course, not is higher than per hour, but if it comes to hair braiding, it's a law.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, based based on the hair you do, give me three popular hairstyles that you do consistently.
Braids. Um, I mean,
When
just
you give when
braids like
you give me the price. Braid,
Mm-hmm.
how much?
Braids, just braids like almost this ones. The long ones, 26 to 30 inches. I do them at home for adults. I do them for 200, and sometimes I reduce it to 180, and that is including the hair because I do it from home. And for kids, I take 80 to 100 euros.
Okay, give me the second hand.
Then the second hair are the weapons. When I put the weapons, I take 60 to 70 euros.
Okay,
And that
the
is
third one.
without hair because they have to buy the hair themselves, pay for the hair themselves. And the third ones just normal the cornrows. And for these ones I take 70 to 80
Okay,
for adults, and for kids I take 40.
okay, good. Now let's go back to bread. If you charge somebody $200 to do their bread, what value are you giving them? List the things that you do to them
I'm
that they leave fulfilled that you serve them. What do you do?
Of course, I of, before they arrive, the hair is taken care of. I braid the hair. It depends on which type of hair. If it's just straight hair, like for excuse me for the language, but for the white people, just their straight hair. So I don't need to do much, but I need to use a lot of edge control gel to hold the hair. And for this one, I also don't need to apply anything on their hair except to apply just a mouse when the hair is done, when I'm done braiding the hair. And for the afro hair, I have to deal with applying to see if I can apply some leave-in condition before putting on the using the edge gel control for braidings. And
All right,
after
I
that, of
get it.
course,
Okay, okay, I
and
get it. How many clients do you have on average every month in total?
um lately I haven't been taking. I've not been trusting myself if I'm able to take it. But then since last year I haven't taken, but I was always taking at least each month. I always had like 2 to 3 customers that I had to make appointments with them
Okay, so why have you not been taking lately?
because the pricing issue. And sometimes I look at my time if I will be able to get it, and I think I have not been able to create that time because of because of the worry of pricing.
Okay.
So
All right. That's what I want us to go. I'm asking this question. So I want you to leave here with a pricing offer that is standard for your clients. Okay. Okay. Now, if you are going to have a business that will help you make money, number one, you need to have a standard price that is the highest based on what you offer. For example, you spoke about bread. Let's say you're braiding somebody's hair for 200 euros, right? So if somebody
mhm,
reaches out to you that they want to do hair and you ask them what type of hair,
yeah,
right? When they tell you and they mention that I want you to braid my hair, you go to your not, if you're using, I don't know, Apple or something, so you go to where you keep your stuff, your sell stuff. You copy the offer for braiding somebody's hair. You copy it and you send to them, and that offer has a standard price. To braid your hair and give you a good experience and a hair that will, what's the average time a woman likes to keep their hair?
depending on the type of hair.
Okay.
If it's Afro hair, they can keep their hair for approximately 8 weeks.
Okay. Now let's
But
assume that.
mm-hmm,
Okay. I want us to get this done very fast. Let's assume that. Let's assume that you have mastered a way of doing the hair and the way you treat the hair when you are done and the kind of advice you keep them on what to do with their hair every day, it helps them keep their hair for so long, right? So,
mm-hmm,
because I'm trying to show you how to create a package, how to create an offer. So when somebody reaches out to you on WhatsApp or call, because you are worried about pricing because you don't have an offer, you don't have a standard offer. And in business, if you are not come to a place in business where, look, in negotiation, if you go on a negotiation deal in business and you are afraid to lose, you're a bad business person.
mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
So from today, anytime be comfortable in a way that anytime somebody reaches out to you about your hair, be so willing and so happy not to plait their hair if they don't pay your price. Sometimes I always tell people that when I give them a coaching fee, they say, "Oh, I cannot afford it." I say, "Don't worry, your life will not remain. Your life will keep on going forward if I am not your coach." And I smile about it. I don't regret it. I don't miss it. You understand? Because whether I plait your hair or not, I will still live my life. You get the concept?
Mm-hmm.
And you need to
Yes.
understand that you are the one that
Oh,
have the
okay.
highest value
Okay.
that running towards you. You have something that is so valuable and they need it from you. So you need to be confident at pricing it. So from today, go and
Mm-hmm.
document your various hair offers that you have. Take braiding. What types of braiding do you normally do? Take the first one, take the highest one. Because in any business, always have the highest price, premium price. Have premium price, middle price, and low price. Are you getting me? In your braiding
Mm-hmm.
hair,
Yeah.
have premium price. And when somebody reaches out to you, based on your conversation, you will not detect that, okay, this person needs a premium price. You not tell them, okay, you go to your I like to have my notes or my self stuff stored on my notes. I use Apple, right? You can see so many
Mm-hmm.
things written down here. There are different stuff. You just go there and copy. But first is go there and write it down and say, okay, breading. You indicate, uh, um, you can give a name, high
Mm-hmm.
premium breading experience. In this breading experience, I'm going to bread your hair for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, whatever, to give you a good experience. And you can add this will accompany with nice African snacks if you want, but treat it like a business. Even so that in a way
Mm-hmm.
that even if you charge 250 50 euros, they'll be happy to pay next time because of the experience you're going to give them. You now let them know that, okay, in this offer, I want to do this with your hair, this and this and this and this and this and this. You indicate there are many things I'm going to do. I'm going to give you, when I look at your hair, I'm going to give you counsel and advice on what to keep doing at home after, after I've done your hair. And then you put the price boldly. And you say that, okay, this is the price. And if you want to be marketing stylish, you can say, this offer normally costs 300 euros.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a 20% discount, and I'm giving you today at 200 euros, whatever, just an example. And then you stay, when you send to somebody, you stay there. If they argue up and down, you stay on that price. If you want to give a different option, you are giving them the medium price. And the medium price should have things that you will not find in the premium price. And you tell them, okay,
Oh.
because of your budget, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is the offer you can get for today. I'm going to do this for you. Instead of, I don't know, so you said inches, instead of 5 inches, I'm going to give you 2 inches. Right? So
Yes.
you do all of that, but and have a standard price. In business, if people are not buying from you, and the first thing you think to do is to lower your price, you're a bad business person. Okay.
Mm.
And you have very good business. I always say, see, Anybody here, if you're in a business that deals with women, you're in good business. Women, good customers, very good customers. They are always up to something, unlike men, right? Sometimes my wife always says the one who always get angry at me. Sometimes I don't see the need of buying a new dress. I, it just bores me. Like I say a year without buying something new. I just hate it. But my wife, like other sisters that I have, they need to something must be happening around them. As a women, if something is not happening around a woman, something is wrong with that woman, right? So if you're in a business that these women, you're in a good business, and then you can focus on increasing your clientele. And the goal should be, how do you move this business? Because trust me, the major path to financial freedom is through what you can create, not your job. Not your job.
Okay.
There's a lady in the United States in Houston. I worked with her one time. This lady is full-time here in her house, full-time. She doesn't work for anybody, full-time here. And she does all this breading and all of that, and she's making good money for herself. And what she has been so she has now improved in a way that she has a TikTok account, so she now sells hair products too. You see,
Mm-hmm.
because people the way she uses it on people and the hair looks nice, people now want her hair, so she now becomes an affiliate salesperson to other big companies, and that's how you become a millionaire in no time. So you have a good business. You just need to be confident in yourself, maintain this person that you have, and stay there. And anytime a client is talking to you, be
Mm-hmm.
comfortable at telling them no. See, come to a place where you trust yourself so much and you trust your product so much and what you give clients that if you charge 200 pounds, 200 euros, and somebody says 190, you tell them, I'm sorry, due to the time and the effort and the value I give you, I cannot be able to serve you at that amount. And you let it go
Okay.
and you smile while doing that. When you do that, you also tell God that, I know what I have. Bring me the queens and I will serve them. When you're chicken hearted, only poor people will come to you. Trust me. I don't know
Mm.
why, but it just works like that. Okay. So,
Oh my.
Keisha, let me give you an assignment since you are in this closed group. In the next 2 weeks, send me your offers that you have created.
Okay.
Agreed? If you send,
Yes, I agree, sir.
I will look at it and give you feedback. And then you just keep them in your notes. And when someone reaches out to you, just stop with them, copy, send. You'll be amazed at how many clients that you will get. Awesome. Good. I hope that helped. So many questions here. Let me see.
Thank you.
Should-
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Should I share industry tips and knowledge on my social media handles, or should I share the work I do and or both? Share the two. Share both. The two will show that you're a thought leader and you know what you're doing and they can trust you. What steps can I take to assess an opportunity before doing an investment so as to avoid preventable losses? It depends the kind of investment and also who is behind the investment. So is it, for example, is it a brick and mortar store? Is it an online investment? And all of that. But first things first, check the legality, check the duration, if they can give you data to show if they have been profitable in the last how many years they're functioning, those things are good. And of course, check what kind of guarantees are they giving you in terms of that particular investment. Those kind of basic things are important to look at. I have got a lot of knowledge, but I can't craft it into an offer for people to pay and always for free or free services. How can I fix for I have so much passion for people? There's something I was telling Lisette here, right? You see, it's good to have passion for people. However, you need to know where the passion has limits, right? Where the passion has limits. And you need to decide, are you in business or are you in charity? Simple as that. So you need to learn how to package your practicable knowledge in a way that somebody can understand it and somebody can go through it and implement what you're teaching them at a particular fee. Okay, so you need to be bold enough at charging whatever amount you want to charge based on the value you're giving and the results they're getting from consuming your particular knowledge. And in terms of crafting the knowledge into an offer, I don't know why you're having this issue, Bosco, because I took time to teach you guys on the various stuffs and the first one of the first major trainings we had, right? So you should be able to craft your offer in as far as knowledge is concerned, and except it is theoretical knowledge. And you see, in the knowledge business or in the human capital development, you will hardly sell knowledge that is theoretical or knowledge you have not done, you have not used to produce results for yourself in a particular way or another. But if it's knowledge that you have used yourself, you should be able to follow the same process you went through to practice that knowledge. You now turn it into a product, into a step-by-step process that somebody can hear and understand and implement what you are talking about. Okay. And then put a price on it and be confident somebody comes to you. Like me, for example, how do I put this? Because I used to also have that issue. One thing I did was that I decided to separate now my knowledge to premium knowledge. I have things that you would never see them in public, and I would never teach for free. Right? If you don't pay me good money, leave it there. I'm not feeding the knowledge. Leave it there. Right? I trust my knowledge. Right? So I decided to have premium offers, average offers, and then free offers. That's why I have so many. I have more than 1,000 videos on YouTube. So when you come to me and I tell you, okay, for me to coach you or consult with you, this is my fee. You cannot pay us. Okay, it's fine. I have videos on this and this and this. I copy them and I send to you for free. Go and watch. I hope it helps you. Bye. Life continues. And most people, when they watch the videos, they say the videos answer all my problems and even solve more problems that they don't know I have. Good. Happy. So I focus on serving the rich, right? Because the rich will always have money to pay you and life continues. Okay. So you can also do that if you can, if you have the resources and the time to do that. I currently work and I got about 2 skills I could start building on for additional income, but I always have this thought I might not perform well at the work. Well, it depends. When you started work, did they give you, because most companies, they may have a contract that you should not have a side hustle, right? So it depends. What does the contract say about having a business? If it's not documented, are you comfortable having that conversation with your client, with your boss, to be sure that when you start, you're not stepping on toes and it aligns with the company's, HR policy in that particular direction. Okay, so it's important to have that conversation before you're starting anything, especially if you're working as you said. But most companies, if they have a contract, you'll find things like that in the contract where they will ask you, will you do this job plus a business? And they will tell you if that's the case, you may need to let them know what kind of business and will it distract you from your job, right? And if it's a job that cannot permit you to do that, okay, you may need to decide to choose between your job or your side business. And if your side business cannot pay you, of course, stay in your job. and decide to have a structure. Maybe you save from your job, have a 6 month living allowance or 9 months living allowance, and then leave your job and work on your business. And you are on a mission that this business must start making money before 6 months so that you don't run out of living money as far as building the business is concerned. Okay, so have that sorted out. Also, I start a lot of things and easily give up when I find another thing that looks very exciting or new. Hmm. Do you know something I always say and I've discovered? People who do this always end up poor. That's harsh, and I know. Do you know why? If you're here and you have not come to a point where something looks exciting and looks good, and you say no to it, you have not matured. And I always tell people, my personal opinion, if you have crossed 30 or you're about to cross 30, one of the most important things you must learn to do in life is to see it, smile at it. I love it, but I'm not interested. Bye. And you focus on your life. Because in your next 30 years, when you cross 30, you have maximum 30 years to build. From 60, you're consolidating and passing out legacy. So at this age, there's a moment that you enter as a person. You see, you can do this kind of thing between the age of 17 and 28. Try so many things here and there. 1,000,001 things is good. That experience is good for your building. But when you enter 30 and above, you begin to reduce guesswork, excitement, trying things here and there. You're now narrowing down to what is your life's work. So the person who asks this question, if you have not discovered your life's work, what you would do for the next 30 years or 40 years, depending on how, if I'm assuming that are you 30 plus? Are you 30 or still to clock 30? But just that general it's a point. It's very important, very important. Okay. So be careful when you do this. Okay, not yet 30. Okay, fine. Then you can, if you still have a few years to get to 30, you can do all the mistakes, learn all the new experiences is good for you, right? But when you begin to get to 30, one of the most important things that can happen to you is to discover your life's work, your life's mission, and come to it because every day it's like it's like being married, both men and women. When you get married, you will still see more fine girls and more fine young men. But you're already choosing your life's work, and there's nothing you can do about it except you have decided to be ungodly and one year man or year woman. So you will see a fine girl, you say, that's your problem. I have my wife. Right? And you focus on your wife and you keep on building and keep on going forward. Okay? Because till you die, you will keep seeing exciting projects, exciting ideas. And if they are not directly advancing what you do as your life's work and life's mission, it should not bother you. Let others do it. The only thing that should excite you is what you have decided to build as a person. And if you are seeing other exciting things, if they are not directly advancing your life's work, admire it, laugh at it, and say, stay away from me. I'm focusing on my life's work. Okay? Very, very important mindset to have. If you don't want, the most important things to learn how to do at a certain age is to say no and focus on what you're building and what you have. Awesome. All right, that is it for today.